I want to sincerely apologize for how bad my hair looks in these videos. Maybe my hair is so flat, like weird looking today because I've been using a new shampoo. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we are going to be doing a Salute to One Tree Hill by Creation Entertainment review. Oh, I have soda on my script. I haven't filmed in so long, I'm out of practice. To preface, I went in very negative. This was the first time that I ever had bought an op for someone that canceled, i.e. James Lafferty. Finding out the number one reason you wanted to go, and also little to no selfies, which selfies are my favorite part of cons because you can really talk to the celebrity. And only 3 people at this con did selfies, which were Chad, Bethany, and Paul. We only did one Stephanie Bethany, which I will discuss later. All of that kind of in the very beginning before we went, I went in with a very negative vibe. Another annoying thing that I found out when we got there was having to do with the photo ops. That's for Entertainment, who does Christmas Con and 90s Con, which I think I did a video on 90s Con. I'll be doing a video on Christmas Con this year when I go. Robert Buckley just got announced, so I get to meet him again. That's super exciting. Obviously, we're going to meet Tyler Hines. That's for Entertainment, you get the JPEG. When you pay for a professional photo op, you get that digital file. At Creation Entertainment, you have to pay $10 for each other JPEG. Finally, for the most negative part about this con, if that all wasn't enough, there were only 10 people, 10 guests. Usually there's a ton of guests. I'm used to cons with like 30 plus guests. By the end, I had three cancellations with 2 replacements. Therefore, the show technically was supposed to have 11 people. Let's talk about who was there. We got Amanda Schull, who played Katie Ryan and Sarah Evans. We have Chantel Van Setten, who played Quinn. We have Chad Michael Murray. Who is Chad Michael Murray? No, I'm kidding. He played Lucas Scott. And then we had Bethany Joy Lenz, who played Haley. We had Paul Johansson, I'm butchering his name, who played Dan. We had Kate Vogel, who played Mia Catalano. We had Tyler Hilton, who played Chris Keller. Robert Buckley, who played Clay Evans, Antoine Tanner, who played Skills, and Austin Nichols, who played Julian. Canceled guests, James Lafferty, who was replaced by Antoine. James Lafferty played Nathan Scott. I don't know how you replace Nathan Scott, but whatever. Daniel Ackles, who was replaced by Paul, she played Rachel Gattina. And then Michael Trugo, who was not replaced, and he played Uncle Cooper. On the very beginning of the website, the influencer girl who does all those cons, Addison Brienne, she was supposed to be there and do like a fangirl meet and greet, blah, 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 blah. It was completely removed. So on to the actual review. We didn't do pre-registration on Friday, so we ended up just walking around on Friday night really late. You could just walk into everywhere, basically. Because they gave us a schedule on Thursday, which is like super late to be giving a schedule. As you can tell, I was very excited. But I'll give that some grace since Paul wasn't added until Wednesday, and Danielle, I think, canceled on. So Paul got added on Tuesday, Danielle canceled on Monday. So they had some trouble. We'd also never been to this venue or done anything with Creation Entertainment before, therefore it was completely new and different. Oh, I have backs and fronts. Wow, we're going to be here for a long time, guys. I'm very used to That's for Entertainment with the signage and the volunteers in the organization, and I'm wondering, because if this was such a small event, if you did do the Vampire Diaries or the Supernatural, that Creation would be more organized. And we talked to a couple people there who said that it wasn't super organized, but there were way more people, and it felt very, what's the word, like sad. Anyway, we got there bright and early at 9:15 a.m. That was when registration opened. We walked the vendor floor, which is literally 3 vendors. That included the Creation Entertainment vendor. The Somerhalder Productions vendor was an amazing vendor. They had so much cool Winter Hill merch. In the vendor's room, we saw that Bethany would have a table, and she'd be the only one with a table that day. I wonder if Creation decided to only have 2 celebrities in there per day, because it would shock me if people like Antoine and Robert would not want to have a table to do selfies. Robert's going to be at Christmas Con, and we're going to do a selfie with him in December. So he obviously does selfies, so why would he not do selfies? Anyway, we just explored, and we found out that the photo ops were on the lower level. There was little to no signage or direction. You kind of had to ask around, but we bought Antoine's photo ops, which were the first of the day for us. On the schedule, they were third because it was Amanda's solo shots, Amanda and Buckley, and then they had their gold panel. The two gold panels were the full cast for each day, except on Saturday it didn't have Tyler Hilton and Kate Vogel, so they were only a part of one gold panel. And Tyler Hilton and Kate Vogel were the only people that were there both days. I didn't mention this. The way that it worked was Tyler Hilton and Kate Vogel were there both days, but on Saturday it was Bethany, Robert, Amanda, Chantel, so that's 6. Sunday it was Chad Michael Murray, Paul, I'm blanking on his name, Austin Nichols. The photo op part was quite organized. I think the pro ops give you less time than that's for entertainment. That's for entertainment. You get a hug. You do move quickly, but it feels a little less pushy. This one felt very pushy, apparently. My mom said that they were pulling her every time. Because my mom, if you pay $150 for a photo op, first of all, you want it to look good, and you also want to say something so you feel like you met them, especially because that's the only option that they give you to do. Antoine was nice. I think it was... he had this weird pink drink from Starbucks. That's just the main thing I remember about Antoine. He was very nice. It was a good first one because it was a little uncomfortable in the beginning with, and I don't know if that's just because of him or because I'd never done it before. I don't know. It was a little uncomfortable, but he's super nice. Then we did Robert Buckley, which my mom is obsessed with Robert Buckley. He's so nice. And he was talking to my mom. He said something to my mom. He was like holding our arms and saying something to my mother. I don't remember what it was, but I looked up and I was like, oh, that's Robert Buckley. It was a weird feeling. He's from like Hallmark movies. And my mom have talked about meeting him also for years. And my mom told him, this is a dream come true. And this guy's so sassy. He was like, well, then why don't you have Robert Earl, what did he say? Why don't you have Robert freaking Earl freaking Buckley shirts? Because we were wearing our Chad freaking Michael freaking Murray shirt. After those 2 pro ups, we went and saw Tyler and Kate's panel. The panels were like empty. Everything was super dead. Like it was kind of like a ghost town, really, for a con. It was not busy at all. I don't know if everybody was just in line for something or they weren't at the panels because Chad's panel was more busy and so was Bethany's. Anyway, back to the Tyler and Kate panel. It was so cool to see Drew from the Teardrops in My Guitar music video. I hate Chris Keller, but he was really cool. Then it was Antoine's panel. He was so entertaining. And then after Antoine's panel, they had the yes no trivia game. It was very short. And what is odd that they had like no celebrity panelists. Usually for those games, they have some sort of celebrity moderator or something. They didn't have any moderators, no people from People, nobody. And then the cosplay contest they had, but I don't think the cosplay contest went because we left for 10 minutes and we came back and nobody was doing it. Then we had Robert Buckley's panel. He's hilarious. He brought out a bowl of candy to give to each person who asked a question, and that man is sass. The funniest part was he made a comment that nobody was like in the front because we were all sat in the back because the first like 6 rows were kind of basically empty. He's like, you guys didn't just want to walk? And then everybody was screamed back at him. They were like, you have to pay extra. He was also making the cameraman work really hard because he ran back and forth and then he got winded, which was funny. Then was Tyler Hilton's photo op, which was really cool. My mom told him that he did a good job with social media, and he switched our shoulders, and I was like, holy crap. And he pointed to a social media guy. Then we did our pre-paid selfie with Bethany. She was also the only one doing selfies, so I had nothing to compare it to. She stayed behind her table. She didn't really, like, look at you. Not in, like, a rude way, but she wasn't very personable. My mom asked her if she was going to go to Christmas Con, and she thought for a minute and goes, I haven't been invited back, which I thought was interesting. We went to the end of Amanda's panel, but her panel was kind of boring. Then we had the biggest panel of the day, and the last panel of the day, which was Bethany and Chantel. This panel was a bit of a letdown because I was really excited because of Haley. I love Haley, but for some reason it was like an uncomfortable panel. One thing that did happen was really funny. They got asked a question of like, who would you like to have on One Tree Hill if it was on today as a singer? And Bethany said Keandre Crow, which my dad loves Keandre Crow. After this panel was done, my mom and I ate at the restaurant in the hotel. I don't know why I wrote all this. I had a hamburger, which was good in comparison to the next day when I had a flatbread that was like sweet. After we ate, we went to our room, got ready, and then headed down for the After Hours concert, which was one of the best After Hours con events. This was amazing. I'm not a huge fan of Kate Vogel's singing, and I barely remember her from the show, but Tyler was hilarious. He kept pointing back to the massive photo of Robert Buckley on the wall. Tyler Hilton keeps going, should we ask our supreme leader, Robert Buckley? And pointed to the massive photo. At the end, Bethany came on stage and sang When the Stars Go Blue.
Dancing in my wooden shoes in a wedding gown, dancing out on 7th Street, dancing through the underground.
which is like a childhood memory. And then the day was over and we went to bed. And then we got up and we got ready again for Chad's photo at 11:30. At the vendor table for Sunday, like I said, Paul had prepaid selfies, but Chad offered selfies that were not prepaid, which I kind of thought was odd. I kind of assumed he would. His selfies were $80. And this is where I realized Bethany did not do a good job, because I didn't see Paul doing selfies, but I saw Chad. And when Chad was doing these selfies, he did the same thing he did at Christmas Con. I was really worried it was going to ruin my Chad Michael Murray experience seeing him. We had our Chad freaking Michael freaking Murray shirts, and he looked at us, gave us both hugs, and then my mom told him we saw him at Christmas Con. He goes, I know, I remember the shirts. And here was me. We said nothing about the shirts. He could have said, oh, you know, like how they do that, where they're like, oh yeah. He said, I know, I remember the shirts. So he obviously did actually remember the shirts. He also... He gave a high five. This is the worst moment of my life. He gave a high five. He went to give me a high five before he gave me a hug, and he went. I missed fully. After that, we went back and we were walking through, and he was like walking through the hallway. He looked at us, and my mom goes, I didn't wave. This is just me. And he goes, and I was like, then we went to Paul's panel, which was really good, but people kept asking him the exact same question. We skipped Tyler and Kate's panel to go to Paul's photo op, which was really cool. He had an injured hand, and he still danced God, and he was really creepy. He put his arm around me. He looked at our shirts and goes, why can't I have Chad's freaking dad shirts? And then we went to the auction, which, according to my mom, who had done fandom auctions before, I think she went on the Star Trek cruise to the fandom auction. She said, she was like, everything was selling for super low. And then we went to Austin Nichols' panel. It was fine. It was nothing special. He looked very put together. He looked kind of like a soap guy. And then there was the final panel, which is the solo panel of Chad Michael Murray. Let me tell you, he was so entertaining. I could do that for another 100 hours. Yeah, so that's it. That's all I have for you. And I really hope that you like this video and give it a thumbs up and comment something. And if you have any ideas for more videos, let me know, because I'm starting to do some really random videos. I'm filming another video today, and it's going to be really random. And I'm filming it next, and I'm kind of excited to see everybody's reaction, because it's going to be just the most random video in the whole world. But thank you so much for watching. I hope that you have a wonderful day, and it's 11 o'clock, so that means 3 hours until Katie wakes up.